So you've watched a bunch of videos, read a bunch of guides. How do you actually move to Mexico? It's all confusing. They're all giving the wrong information. That's why I decided to make this video. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, break it down so you can understand how do you actually move to Mexico. So there is a special program which was basically created during COVID to help people more easily move to Mexico. And it's still available today. And it has no income requirements, so you don't have to show any bank statements or anything like that. You can get it entirely processed in under 2 weeks. You get a 4-year residence permit, where the normal procedure is basically a 1 to 2 year residence permit that you have to renew again. So with this, you get 4 years, and it's available for your whole family. So Mexico is basically consistently inconsistent. And this program is only available at certain immigration offices. Some of them don't do it anymore. Some of them have different requirements. It's really hard to find this info. So that's why I'm trying to make this video to help people out and show them these different ways that they can get Mexican residency. But we'll talk about that at the end of the video. But firstly, why Mexico? So Mexico is the most popular country with Americans by far. There's over 1.5 million Americans living in Mexico. And it's really not hard to see why. You know, it's a guaranteed lifestyle upgrade. If you're coming from a Western country like the US, Canada, the UK, Western Europe, your quality of life is going to increase absolutely dramatically in Mexico. You're going to be able to get a much, much nicer apartment for the same price, or like a nice house, nice villa. You have an abundance of fresh food. The cities are very walkable. You can live near the beach, etc. So it's a really great place to live for that. So the routes to Mexican residence are temporary residency, permanent residency, and the regularization program, which is the special program I told you about at the start. So first we'll get into the routes that are, the normal routes where you apply from outside of Mexico at the consulate. So temporary residency, the income requirements are that you earn over $4,350 per month, or that you have over $73,000 in savings. And the documents required are your birth certificate, which has to be apostilled, a marriage certificate if you're married, which also has to be apostilled, and the statement to prove your income or your savings. And permanent residency is basically a way where if you earn higher income, the process is exactly the same. But if you earn more, you can basically skip temporary residency and become a permanent resident. This one is really geared towards retirees, but we have seen some people in the late 30s, early 40s get accepted for this. So it's $7,300 per month, or over $290,000 in savings. These are approximate. It depends on the exchange rate, and also it goes up every year because it's based off a percentage of the minimum wage in Mexico. But it's around these figures. Also, it doesn't have to actually be savings. You could prove it with investments as well by showing a brokerage statement. So the timeline for this, so basically we have a tech company that helps people get residence permits all over the world. And Mexico is one of those countries. So we basically simplify the process. We do it quicker. We're transparent on pricing, etc. So the way it would work with us is you would sign up on Perpetual, which is our platform. Then you would gather your documents, submit your application, and then collect your visa from the Mexican consulate. And basically, Mexico give you a 180-day visa. When you apply, gives you 180 days, half a year, to enter Mexico. And then when you're in Mexico, you visit the immigration office and you exchange it. And they basically give you your residence permit there, and then you're officially a resident. But what I think is the best program in the entire world, where if you want to move to Mexico, I would do this sooner rather than later, because this program is not going to be around for much longer. And the government are already talking about closing it down. So this might not be continuing into next year because it is a holdover from COVID. So the income requirements are none, and the only documents that you need is your passport. So to be able to qualify, literally the only requirements are that you enter Mexico as a tourist at least once between 2015 and 2022. So let's say, you took a vacation to Cancun for 1 week, etc. Then you would qualify. Or if you drove in, then you'll qualify. The only things that don't qualify is if you came off a cruise ship, because you're processed differently in the immigration system. But as long as you enter by land or air, and you went, for at least 1 day between 2015 and 2022, you qualify for this. And also the other requirement is that you currently have an expired tourist visa. So let's talk about the timeline for this program. So step 1 is you sign up on Perpetual, and then step 2 is you visit Mexico, but this also works if you're inside of Mexico as well. So basically how it works is that you need an expired tourist visa. So usually when you enter Mexico, they give you a 180-day tourist visa. And the reason why this isn't good is because obviously you don't want to wait half a year to get your residence permit. So the way to get less time is basically when you enter Mexico to just ask the border official to just give you, for example, 7 days, say you're only going to be there for 7 days, and ask for less. Or another way is basically if you're down by Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum, to cross the border quickly into Belize by taxi, bus, or drive, and then you can cross straight back into Mexico, and they'll give you a 7-day visa at that border, because they actually do it to stop Americans doing visa runs. But it actually benefits you in this situation because you get 7 days. So you just wait 7 days for it to expire, and then the day after it expires, we can accompany you to the immigration department, book you an appointment, and then the appointment will usually be within a couple of days' time. And then you just go to the appointment. We go with you. We translate all the documents, everything for you. You just have to have your photo taken, and they literally print your residence permit card on that day. So it really is that simple. You can get the entire process done in under 2 weeks and officially become a resident. And like I said, there's no income requirements at all. So I really do think this is the best option for people, but it's not going to be around forever. And they are talking about closing it down. So if you want to get started on this, if you have any questions or anything, you can click the link down below to book a call, or you can check out our website and you can get started straight away with the process and sign up if you want.